Good. G'day, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
So I love this one. I was chatting to MC about it. This is actually funny because whenever Fleur, my wife, mentions something, I take note of it because she might just mention it flippantly or whatever it is. But I was like, there's probably some gold in that you mentioned. Actually, this was the very first book that I ever read in self-development. It's by Dr. Kerry Spackman, who's a Kiwi, actually, unbelievably enough. Coached Formula One teams and some other stuff. But this was the book when I was 22. It was on my desk as a teacher. Like, I still remember this old teaching room. And it was freaking cold. And I was looking at my life, and I love teaching. It's still majority of my job. I was like, I'm never going to get to where I want to go financially as a teacher. And so it's like, I got to find a way to, I didn't know what it was. I'm just like, whatever it is, I got to find a way. So I ended up with the Winner's Bible. And the thing that moved me is, I tell MC, this is like big boobs, fast cars, and lots of money. That was the thing that I was like, all right, there, I want those things. It was enough to get me out of my seat and go, well, I can't do that in a teaching degree. And if I did, I probably wouldn't have a job very long. So that was my first book. And Fleur mentioned it the other day, and I was like, that's interesting. Yeah, I might just grab that off my shelf. So I went and grabbed it off my shelf. And the first thing I read was something a client was going through. And I was like, that is hilarious. So I shared it with MC. It's this idea of how many people get sold the thing, well, here's how to beat Roger Federer at Wimbledon. Just hit the ball where Roger can't reach it. I'm like, genius. That is genius. Of course, that's how you beat Federer. That makes so much sense. And it's popped up quite a few times with guys around, well, how do you have a better life? Or just have positive thinking. I'm like, wow, of course, that just makes sense. I was like, that's ideal. And so it brings me to this, the knowing and doing gap. And I wanted to bring MC, like MC's coach, and God knows how many people, and a lot of people also in the sporting arena as well. And when he was back living in the, well, you guys call it God's country, but we also call New Zealand's God's country, and America calls America God's country. So I'm not sure whose is God country, but back in Australia, someone has God's country anyway. And I was like, and we get these. I've been getting a lot of messages lately about, hey man, just wanted to reach out and thank you for the School for Men. I don't know what it is, but it's just different, and everything I seem to do works. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, cool. I know what the difference is, but these guys don't, because they've been sold the whole thing. And to not be too down in the conspiracy funnel as well, but what happens to a world where men spend all their time in the knowing gap? Like, well, I know everything, so therefore it's fine. And they get these, we'll talk about why men stay there as well and how to get rid of that. But see, what's your experience with the knowing doing gap, and what have you done with guys to get them out of it as well?
I'm going to struggle today. All I can think of with that was myself.
Okay.
And this is always the best place. That's the only place I ever go to, is self. Everything I teach is something that I had to figure out myself. And then I go, oh, that could be useful. Then I go teach it. And so anything I've ever done in life has been for the betterment of myself. So when it was in health and fitness, I nuked everything I thought I knew and got great teachers. You know, I became I knew nothing. Then because I wanted to get good in investing, I became a fund manager or invested people's money. Why? Because I want to be better at it myself. And then I went into coaching and all the other things. So all I can think of is that I empty myself out. The minute I think I know something, I know nothing. I lose all potential, all possibilities, and all perspective. So I know nothing. And then we hear this a lot. And if like all things, I caught onto it intellectually and grabbed it and cliched the fuck out of it. You know, the more I knew, the more I learned, the less I believe I know. I didn't think of the phrase now. But the more I learn, the more I realize I know nothing. And I got that intellectually, and I used to say that intellectually until I actually got it. And then I start to embody it. And that's everything for me. I get in things intellectually. So then I start to like say it. And then I start to own it as if I actually do own it. And then I start to embody it. So that was just one of those things. I empty myself out and make myself like I would sit there, right? I was coaching Olympic teams, and naturally you sort of say that at a dinner table, and someone starts telling you their diet plan. It's the first thing that happens. I'm an Olympic level coach. Oh man. So when I go to the gym, I do 3 reps of this and I go to the bench, and then they walk you through an hour's workout, blow by blow, rep by rep. But I would sit there and go, right, really? And why did you do that? And this is someone who's been like training for a day, right? And here I am coaching, well, I don't know, the team was worth, we didn't get paid much in Australia. But our team, Australian team, was worth $2.5 million in athletes. Okay, not a big number when you compare that's the hourly rate of Ronaldo, something like that. But the point is that was a lot of money in Australia back then in 2000. And I would sit there and listen to this guy who was mildly obese, never trained a day in his life, and he's in his first, and I'm like, yeah, why? And tell me how do you do that? Why do you do that? And curious. And it was boring and it was difficult and it was challenging. I'm like, I can see all the flaws, but I'm like, but you tell me why, right? And I would be a forever student. And yes, then I would get around elite athletes and ask the same questions. And I would dumb myself down in a way. One, because I'll own the real shadow to it. I was a people pleaser. I didn't want to grandiose myself, but I wanted people to like me. And so when they're teaching me, right, they feel empowered, they feel good, they feel better than, they walk away from that conversation going, I don't know what it is. I just really like Mike. I could feel like I could talk to him all day because I asked questions and I was curious. And so I think to distill that down, right down is I dumb myself down to be very curious and to look at a different perspective. Did that even go close to answering?
Yeah, you kind of have, because the very first thing you said, you empty yourself. And it always goes, and this is why people keep coming into the group and they're going, well, this demands something different, or something else has changed. I'm like, yeah, because it demands something different. I don't demand that you learn something. I demand that you just go and do the thing. The thing that makes you change the fastest is actually, even if the thing that I ask you to do, go eat a cake and you're trying to lose weight, but they just go and do that thing, it's not the right thing, but it's the fact that they surrendered and went and did it, and took action.
I remember
and suddenly they go, oh, right. And you just emptied yourself out. Most people come in and like, oh, I already know all this stuff. I'm like, cool, man. Then this won't work.
I was in a group and I saw this the other day. My memory is not here today, but I met the guy, that was his first comment in the group. Oh, this is everything I've learned before. Yeah, well, how much have you implemented? Why are you here? And I remember my coach, Les Gordon, really instrumental in growth. It was, I didn't have any money. I don't know what happened at that point in my life, but I borrowed $5,000. I was at a T. Harv Eker conference workshop weekend thing, the Millionaire Mindset. And I borrowed money to get there. And I'm sitting in the thing and I'm like, you got no money. How are you going to do this? And I can see this guy presenting and I'm like, yeah, don't bite. Don't put your hand up. Don't put your hand up. Oh God, put my hand up. Quickly called my sister. I need $5,000. I need to borrow $5,000. She's like, what for? I'm like, I just know I need this. Anyway, T. Harv didn't coach me. It was his lead coach that I fucked around, took the coaching thing. Anyway, I paid for it and I missed the onboarding call. I ended up with his lead coach just as I fell into the best seat in the house because there was no one left. Serendipitous, miraculous, universe working for me, whatever it was. Anyway, Les was very instrumental, great mentor. And he would set me a task. We'd have a call. I'm on the Gold Coast. I'm not kidding. There was a computer desk. To my right was, the kids know this story. there was 4 milk crates
that you stole.
that I stole from the local cafe. And I dressed them up with tea towels because that was my dining room table and chairs. It was the divorce of the kid's mum, right? And the kids were like 2 and 6 months old. And they still say, like, there was a few cringe moments they'd say it in public, like, hey, Dad, do you remember when we used to have milk crates? Yep, I remember. I just swallow that. But I remember it so well. Anyway, we'd have a call at 2:00 Brisbane time every day, every Monday, and he would set me a task to do. And we would finish our call at 2:30, and no later than 3:00 would I have the results of the week's worth of homework. And he's like, Mike, I've never seen anything like this. I coach a lot of people and a lot of really successful people. No one does this. No, like I set them tasks. Some of them get it done 2 minutes before our call next week. Most don't ever get them done. And you get it done within half an hour and you go, what's next? Does it work? Yes, the cumulative effect of these 1%ers did work. Were they groundbreaking? Were they? Yes, they were actually. They really were. But when you looked at them in isolation, they're minuscule, or they weren't some earth-shattering earthquake thing. It was just continually moving forward. And he's like, I've never seen it. He says, you're just one as a coach, and I get this. You're a dream to work with. And it puts him on edge because he goes, I need to level up for this guy because he is at me. So he's inspired in our coaching container because he's like, I can't rest with this guy because he's like, boom, at the door again. Right. And so he's inspired. So he's doing stuff that he was giving me, like it was a 15-minute coaching call. We never went under an hour because he wanted to pour in, because I'm like this vessel of like I'm sucking in the earth from him.
Yes.
And he was inspired. He didn't begrudge the extra time at all, ever, and mate, it was unbelievable experience for us both. But the biggest point was, whatever he said to do, I did not think, Josh, you do this. Sometimes you quiver because you're like, you want me to do what? but I had those as well, right? Yeah. Because that's the challenge, that's the edge, that's the point where like, oh, uncomfortable. Oh, good. Now we're living. Life begins at the edge of your comfort zone, right? And so our role, and Les's role for me, was just to dangle me at that point where it was like, and I would just go anyway. Rip it off, go anyway.
The rip it off. I just want to fucking get, done. God, fuck, yeah. All right.
And then you realize it. Well, God, nothing actually, the world's still spinning. Shit, the sun's still up. Yeah, okay, next.
And I had this conversation with a guy today on a voice note. And I was angry. Well, not angry, just very frustrated. So I had to sit with it and see where it was alive in my world, and it was clear. But it's the whole, like, I just don't have time right now. I've got so many things on my plate. And I understand the feeling. I understand the clutter, the mindfuck, the weight of the world feels like, oh my God, there's just so much on. Yet every time I do what MC's talking about, the list is still there. The list is still pages long. But I've done the one thing that was the hardest thing, and it feels like my day's done. It kind of just feels like the rest of my day, I got my feet up and I'm literally fucking about. Like, it's just easy. And there's so much time. And so I put the post up in the school today because it's like, MC shares this with me all the time. When somebody comes to me and goes, oh, I just don't really have time right now. He goes, oh yeah, fuck, are you Elon Musk, mate? Because really, there's one guy that maybe has that excuse.
And
he doesn't. Never do you hear him. He's just in an interview and he's like, you've got 30 minutes with me.
I watched an interview on the weekend with a lady from 60 Minutes with Elon. I've been watching a lot of Elon's stuff lately. There's some cool stuff coming out from him. And she was from 60 Minutes Australia, and she said, did you realize that the cost of power in Australia is so extreme that some families are deciding, should we eat today just to keep the power on? And they're going without food. And Elon was stumped. Like, he was like, he was genuinely rocked to the core. And he's like, I did not know that. She goes, well, what would you do about that? He said, it was so solemn. And it was so beautiful. And you could see it from his heart. And he goes, I can fucking feel like I'm emotional about it. He just went, well, anyway, go YouTube, 60 Minutes, Elon Musk. And he just said, we'll work harder. It was so real. It was so heartfelt. And he wasn't fucking kidding. Like, he felt the magnitude of, I had no idea Australia, like such a developed nation, people would be questioning power versus food. And he said, I had no idea. We'll work harder and we'll work faster. And he doesn't go, I'm busy, I can't address that shit. No, he goes, fuck, we'll work harder. Yeah. And so, yeah, I that's my biggest trigger. Someone goes, oh, I don't have time, or I'm so busy. Oh, yeah. Okay. You just opened up the door to fucking a tsunami coming through. Here it is. Compared to fucking what?
Yeah.
Like, it's the worst thing I've ever heard. And if I ever, like, I want to say it, there's been, the last couple of weeks, I have been very full. I didn't say I was busy, though. My life is very full right now. Can you see the difference in it?
Yeah.
I didn't say I'm at capacity. I didn't say I'm breaking. It's just, I'm holding a lot of plates right now. But I wouldn't allow myself to succumb to busyness, even in my vocabulary. Because what my words, I'm casting spells. And the minute I speak it, I bring it into my reality. And busyness is just, and so are you busy or are you productive? People like being busy because it's a fucking badge. Oh, I'm so busy, man. You don't understand. You don't understand. The victim mentality straight away. And it is victim, right? But you're not being productive. Denzel Washington was the person who said that in one of the Oscars speeches. Don't confuse momentum for productivity. Just because you're spinning your wheels in the mud doesn't mean you're doing fucking shit.
I look at, I always go back to like Freud or Jung, and I look at the busyness as always this perfect. It's the perfect self-sabotage thing. It should be the trigger that kicks you of going, yeah, busy's making you feel comfortable in the shit and staying in the shit that you're already in. If I removed all the shit from your life, you'd be uncomfortable and you'd be like, well, what do I do? Yes, because you got to do the one main thing. That's it. You just do the one main thing every time. And I go back to, why is the school for me different? Why is one course not the same as the other? Why is it that even though this cookie cutter thing, people use that as an excuse. Oh, it's cookie cutter, it won't work for me. Oh, it's worked for thousands. So it's worked for thousands. What's the difference? And Mike knows, like these PT, Profitable Tradies, probably one of the biggest business coaching businesses in Australia and New Zealand. And I was like, yeah, it's cookie cutter. But if you follow it and you time it right and you execute on the things, it works. So fucking wow, look at that. So and even when you get things wrong, if you executed on it, you get used to being the executor. So you just pivot again and you take action rather than sitting on it for 12 months, 9 months. We talked about in the Luminary the other day, death by 1,000 cuts, because you're used to just going, fuck it, I'll take action again. Seemed to work last time. I'll take action again. And I'll put my hands up on, it has been, this is a long one. What are we now? 40, 33. So nearly 7 years when I've dropped my nest egg on Facebook marketing. And it was the right thing, but I did it wrong. And so from then on, I always said, oh, you're a terrible marketer. So I've never done marketing again. Never touched it. I was like, what's the one thing that drives your business forward? Marketing, sales. What's happened? I've got whatever I got back into marketing. And what do you know? I was like, making sales. So, wow, 7 years. Kept telling myself that thing.
Yeah, I had such a fear around ads as well. Like it was so his fingers were so burned that he's like, I can't fucking go there again. And I get it. But look at what you're doing now and how does it look from like your ads don't cost you anything.
No.
What I mean by that is paying for the ads, but the leads are paying for them for the ads. So he puts in $1, he gets back $1. He puts in $2, he gets back $2. So the leads are paying for themselves, which means you have an infinite amount of leads you can now generate as long as you keep tweaking that system and keeping the numbers there. It's not costing. Yes, it goes out one day, but it come back the next day. And you look at universal supply and demand, right? And there's so many things at play. And now, for that phrase is, what was your phrase? I'm not a good marketer. I'm not a.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone in any industry with metrics like you have right now.
Wild.
I don't
honestly,
know anyone.
This has been a really big ego hit.
Hang on. Let that land. Let it land. I don't know anyone in any sector with metrics like you do. For someone who's not good at marketing, you're pretty fucking good at marketing. Okay, sure. You're not clickbaiting the shit out of everyone getting 50,000 leads today.
Yeah.
But everyone who signs up talks to you. Everyone, you raise the consciousness of everyone. This is our philosophy, right? To raise the consciousness of men. Everyone who comes through the sales process elevates their consciousness. We're not, mate, we can go out there and clickbait the shit out of it. It's super easy. We just go to your favorite metric of fast cars, big boobs. But yes. You'll be getting all your needs met just by doing that marketing. But we lower the consciousness, which means we lower the collective, which means we're actually not being true to ourselves. So for someone who's not very good at marketing, you're being ethical, moral, you're being successful, and you're being true to yourself, but you're raising the consciousness. And it doesn't cost you anything. For someone who isn't very good at marketing, that's a very interesting story. That you just collapsed.
Yeah.
You just collapsed.
Yeah.
And you did it really I'm not going to say effortlessly. That's not true, because you were diligent and you put your foot forward and you showed up for it and you did all the things. You didn't kill yourself. You just chipped away at it. Add something, refine. Add something, refine. And it's just growing. So that's a really beautiful collapsing of that paradigm, which a paradigm is just a set of stories and beliefs that Josh collected, through lived experiences. That's how you collapse it, by showing up and confronting it.
The action piece is wild. And the funny thing to that story was I did not surrender that. And I only noticed this a couple of days, guys. So when I got my first CEO job at 36, so not bad. And then ran a company. We weren't a huge company. We were 30. We had a sales team of about 14. But I wore that as a bit of a badge. So when other people came in, other coaches would be like, oh, I'm doing this or that. I'm like, whatever, mate. Your team's 2 guys. And I've been at this X amount and blah, blah, blah. I was no longer a student. And so I lost all my vision. And so recently, these 2 guys that have never run anything close to what I run, but I'm learning off them. And I actually, especially where the world is now, I'm asking questions in group that still make me feel like an idiot. Like I'm asking these questions. I'm like, how do you track this? What would you do in this sales situation? How would you make this ad better? And people are giving me feedback like, dude, do this. And it's working. And I'm just like, man, let go of your stories, bro. Become a student again. Let go of your ego. Just allow that death to happen. And then next thing, I'm having all these people free help me. They're like, yeah, man, let me have a look at that ad for you. Yep, send it over here. Oh, yeah, no, do this, do that. Okay, cool. Track this, do this. I'm like, this is amazing. And I'm getting all these results from it. And it's that same thing. I go back, I just let go of that story. And then, but the best way to let go of it was just do the action.
Take action. And what did you take action with? $5 a day.
I made it small. I made it really, really small. Okay. And I just chipped away, like little by little, $5 a day. Now it's $50 or $75. And it just slowly scales up. But it's the same thing. And I looked at this when I was kind of coming up with today. It is, can you execute on these things on your worst fucking day? When you're completely shit at life? Is your system so good? And I'll use structure instead of system. So people, they talk about habits and they're like, oh, I go to the gym 7 days a week. I'm like, yeah, maybe. Okay, well, I go outside and put my feet on the ground. And to make it easy, I make sure my slippers are at the door or whatever. I have a structure that makes something easy. So it might be like, well, to drink 3 liters of water a day. Oh, I get a liter-sized bottle and I have it at my desk. That's a structure. That makes my habit easy because habits break when I am having a shit day. And I'm not top of my game. There you go. Like, there it is. There's the structure.
It actually helps.
It's so simple, eh? Structures are key. And so when I'm doing these little things with guys and they feel like the world is falling on top of them, first we do the list. Nothing sexy. So here's your list of all things. Cool. This is where people, I feel, miss the gap. They're like, oh, I completed my list. Yeah, but which did you do the high priority one? I don't know which one that was, but I feel really good to do my list. So I'm going to write another one. And it's 6 months and a year's gone by and nothing's changed. They're like, I'm doing all the things. I'm like, yeah, that's the problem. You're doing all the things. I was like, I've got a parking bill that's sitting on my table. And Fleur's like, you really should pay that. I'm like, yeah, and I'm going this way. It's just not that important. And yeah, it should get paid. And it will at some stage. But it's just not a high priority. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to go launch this ad today. That's the thing. I'm going to go make this call to this person and close that deal. That's the things. And so make sure you got your list, you high prioritize your list, and then you build a structure to make it super easy. So when you are having a fucking terrible day, your structure's still there and you just fall into its place. So, oh, that was easy. The glass
I'll drop something I thought of earlier, which sort of now you've just reminded me. What's the opportunity cost? What's the opportunity cost? So whenever I don't do these things, so even the parking fine for me, babe, that's not a high priority for me. Can you pay that for me? There it is. Use this card. Masculine direction. Now, she's brought it into your awareness because that's perfect. That's what the feminine, the oracle does. That needs to be done. It's occupying Josh's brain somewhere in there that fucking thing, but it needs to be done. Babe, there it is. There's the fine. Go do it. Use that card. Let me know when it's cleared. Can you have it done by 4 o'clock today? Deadlines. No longer on mine. It's not in my brain anymore. Anything that comes in, I go out straight away. I get rid of it. Called The Monkey Manager by Richard Blanchard. The 1 Minute Manager. There's it's literally a 1 minute book. It'll take you. I read it between the runway of taking on. Literally, it's a 1 minute book. Richard Blanchard, the whole series, The Minute Manager. Read that 2000 something. Amazing. It'll change the way you think about tasks. But what's the opportunity cost is I've got all of these things on my desk. They're occupying bandwidth. I can't see the real opportunity or the big task that I need to do for all of the shit that's on my desk. And they're usually meaningless tasks that someone else can do, or there's someone, what's worse, if you've got staff, there's someone else's fucking problems that they've given you because they don't want them. Yeah. And so now you've onboarded them. So I get rid of everything the minute, no, that's not mine, you take it. I don't read emails. Why? Because it's someone else's problems. If they really want me, they'll ring me. If it's urgent, they'll ring me. I only deal with urgent things, high priority and urgent things. Did you get my email? No, I didn't. What was it about? Tell me. It's much quicker.
But that right there, you've named the overwhelm. I don't have time. Right there, you've named it because you're like, I got all these little things. And I just use my computer as a perfect example. I've got a MacBook Air. And I was like, I'm going to get a Mac Mini to run Claude because it's doing all this thing for me. I'm like, what is going on? And I found a little thing that says, this is how much RAM you're using right now. And literally Google Chrome with its tabs uses the most. All the tabs open on Google Chrome. It's not Claude. And that's the beast. Like that you see what Claude does. It's my URL tabs. All the little things that are open. Just what?
Interesting to say that. Yeah, okay, cool. Good to know. Yeah. Someone said that to me one day about trading, because trading requires a lot of RAM, and they said, make sure you close all your browsers.
Yes.
I didn't realize that was it.
That's it. Still Google Chrome. Safari's a little less, but yeah, Google Chrome. But it's such a good analogy of going on in your mind. I've got Claude, making a complete new marketing campaign or something quite large, and it's all my tabs, the little crappy fucking road tolls.
Do a quick inventory. I know I've generally got 4 browser windows open and 16 tabs in each one. Who else has got that? Who else has got that? I mean, my computer was shut down, so it's not really fair.
Yeah.
But
I literally do
normally,
that. I just
I've
shut my
got
computer.
4 fucking frames up, and each one of them has 16. So that's all right. So that's your mind.
There you go.
He's got the browsers open.
Yeah, it's got the browser, mate. It's shut down. So, but I want to, for you guys, because this is where it gets some caveats kind of come into it, is I'll use the positive thinking trap. So the positive thinking, and I've studied this now, is it brings the wind to you now. And so you don't need to move. Like if I visualize my life and I do all the stuff, I disassociate and I'm like, oh man, me sitting on a beach, that's legit. That feels so nice. I get all of that now and never have to do the thing that makes the next move. So what I do with any visualizing that I do, I go, cool, I visualize. I do the living from inspiration, by the way, if you haven't been there, Sam, in the group, the living from inspiration. Fucking, it's 20 minutes. You could crack it down to 5 in the morning if you wanted to. But what it does is it creates a place of abundance in your life because you see all the amazing things you already have. It then creates, on the same frequency that you're running, a vision for your future. But then you also call in the task that you've got to do. Often it's the task that scares the shit out of you, but you go and do that task. So it's not disassociation. You go, cool, that's beautiful. And then suddenly you've got tension because you're like, here, I've got to go do this thing. And so you go execute the task and suddenly you're like, holy shit, that was scary and awesome. And now I can go do all the little things, whatever I need to do. And yeah, that's the dangers of disassociation. And I honestly, I mean, believe in the conspiracy or not, but I look at the world of knowledge that we have, and it's the trap. Keep feeding everybody knowledge, and they'll keep feeling like they know what to do next, and it just keeps them in the cycle of staying exactly where they are, because they're like, oh, cool, I know that now. I don't need to worry about it. Well, hang on, have you embodied it? When somebody told me I was talking to one of the luminary guys the other day, and he told me, oh, I know that. I said, no, you don't. Because if you knew it, you would actually have done it and be embodied in it. You'd have knowledge and wisdom, and you don't have any of that. Oh, yeah, but I know that. I've read about it. No, you don't know it. Well, what do I do? I'm like, you know nothing. And have that as your starting place. But he didn't want to do that. He was like, no, I know all this stuff. I'm like, cool, man. Then you're going to spin your wheels exactly where you are because you keep thinking you know and you keep visualizing this life and you don't actually do anything about it. And so, yeah, the disassociation is real, but living from inspiration is a great one because you go, cool, yes, I do have everything because I am complete and whole, and you feel this overwhelming sense of gratitude and amazement, and this is my next step. Fucking hell, I'm going to go do that thing. And it's such a good little practice. But just be wary of yourself of the disassociation. And I really want to, something's been popping up for around Mike as well, and just, this goes for everybody, actually. It's like we always want the thing faster. We want that gap closed now. And I get that. And as we age into our life as well, how many people you talk to, they were 40, they're like, I should be further ahead. They're 50, I should be further ahead. So I should be further. When are you ever just going to be here? But it's this idea of when you break things down to a small enough step, is that you actually always feel like you're on the journey. You actually always feel like you're getting somewhere. And so, yes, the end is there. And I'll use, MC and I sat down, it'll be just over a year ago, and we did a 3-year plan. And in 3 years, we were going to have our first set of property for a retreat. 9 months later, I'm like, oh, shit. Okay, that happened really, really fast. But we didn't spend all our time disassociation to the beautiful vision. We just went, okay, cool, what's the next step? And breaking that down. And then the next level is, whilst you're doing those steps, guys, whilst you're taking that action, sure you get to live on the way. Like when we work with the luminary guys, this might be a little trigger for Mike, so we do you build your dream. And funnily enough, when you're living your dream on the way, because it's never a destination, it's always the journey. Like the journey is the fun part, but business owners get so caught up and like, oh, I got to do the next thing. And Mike, I'll hit you up for this because I did the same thing with MC today. It's like, oh yeah, we had our biggest month. And you just bulldoze over into the next thing. It's like, hang on, you did what? Back to the celebration. It's about living the moments on the way, but it's such a clear example how we just bulldoze our way through. We don't organize the weekend away. We just kind of sit around home and we're like, oh, that was a relaxing weekend. I guess it was good. Well, did you do the bike ride that you wanted? You said you wanted to go on that adventure. Oh, we'll just push that to another month. So we have those things in the luminary and that plan of like, so when you get to the end of the year, you've got great stories, you've had great adventures, business has moved, you've executed on things, and you feel like you've actually lived. Like, oh my God, my life's happening. I'm actually not waiting for the arrival thing. And then what happens? I'm living, I'm full, I'm excited, everything's working for me. What does the universe do? Oh, reflects. Oh, everything's happening. He's living, he's adventuring, everything's happening for him. And suddenly you're like, oh wow, this is fucking life's really awesome. And MC uses the word full. Oh, life's really full right now. Because it is. My calendar is packed with all the good stuff. So just a really important piece of the warnings of disassociation, the difference of the reason why guys get the results is that because they execute. They do that thing. Empty yourself out, become that vessel, and then, oh yeah, I'm an idiot, go do the thing. MC always gives a shit. He's like, there are so many more people making way more money than us that are so much dumber than us. I'm like, yeah, and he uses big red button press. It's like, it's that simple. It's like, oh man, I'm an idiot. Why don't I just do that one thing? And unfortunately, you guys are smart. So you'll run stories in your head of like, oh, this will happen, this will happen, this will happen. I'm like, that's 7 things you've thought about. And we're back to that. I feel like there's so much on my plate. It's because you're running scenarios, 7 different ones that you haven't closed the loop on yet. And the execution shuts the loop down straight away because you get the result, you get the outcome right then and there. It's like, hey, Mike, want to buy this thing? No. Cool. No more loop. I know that Mike doesn't want to buy that thing. Next. It's so much cleaner and so much easier. You're on mute, MC.
Thanks, man. I learned that with sales. How long time ago? Someone said to me who was dumb but very good at sales, like genuinely dumb but brilliant at sales, and he said, "I can work with yes and I can work with no. Maybe is putting your dick in my ass. I can't work with that." It's like, that stuck for me. I was like, so I started to use that in sales when people go, oh, can I think about that? Well, what exactly do you need to think about? Just give me a yes or a no. I can then move on, close the loop, close the door. I'm not holding that monkey mind again. I'm not holding on to that going, oh, I got to circle back around. Well, I didn't really close that. Was it a yes? Am I meant to go back? Fuck, that's all energy. It's all time and it's occupying here. Don't be afraid of the no. It's a redirection, not a rejection. I'm not meant to be here. Thank you for letting me know early. Fuck. Move on.
I have to waste my time.
Leave it there. I share this with Josh. I've got a coach, and I don't know, every 3 months, I reckon he messages me, and he's like, "Hey man," like he'll just come up with something like, "How's the business? How's island life?" I'll write back this little blurb back. He doesn't even respond because there was no like door opening for him to come in and say, "Oh, do you want help with that?" He doesn't care that what my response is, unless it was, "Oh, I'm really stuck with this." Oh, and then he pours in. He doesn't waste time. All he does is lead generation. It's like, "Hey man, how's island life? How's the business going? How are the projects going?" And if I come up with a bit of a quiver, he'll pour into that. But if my last message back was like, "Oh, this is going, I need a few more leads," and he's like, "Yeah, I got nothing to give him." He doesn't go, "Great." He doesn't go, "Oh, that's good." No, he'll just circle back 3 months from now and see if I got another problem. Am I offended? I know what he's doing. Every time I get the message, "How's island life?" I know he's lead generating. And he doesn't wait for the response unless it's going to make him a sale. Am I offended by it? No, because when I need him, I'll go, "Hey man, can I get your help with this?" Because he's constantly asking, hey, just covertly saying, "Hey, do you need help with anything?" Masquerading as, "How's island life?" or "How's the projects going?" So, and any judgment that we have is judgment that we have of ourselves. So lose your judgment and ask the question, Do you want any help with that? Is the fucking greatest sales line I ever learned. They've got a problem. Do you want some help with that? Yeah, I do. Awesome. Would you like to see what that looks like? There you go. I just gave you my whole sales pitch. Was anyone offended? No, not at all. You have a problem. Yes, I just highlighted it for you. Would you like help with that? Yes. Would you like me to show what it looks like to work with me? Yes, I would love to know. Okay, this is it. That's all sales is. Sales is just providing a solution and asking, would you like help with that? I've got the tools. Would you like some? That is it. But we create stories. I was sitting here thinking, my head's not really working, but why do we do these things? Like, Josh, refresh me, what were you talking about just before that, around what men specifically do? Like, we get busy, we do all the things. It was like just before I came in with that, I've got a mental blank. I've really got a mental blank on everything today. But
Mike's got a note on it. I can't remember what it was.
Basically, the stories we tell ourselves.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Mike. You're fucking brilliant. Where did those stories come from? Oh, that was actually worded so perfectly. You just gave the teaching for me. Where did those stories come from? Where do we develop those stories? And because they're not yours, but what happened in our formative years that created that story for us? And we're running that strategy, and it's not even your story. It's actually your interpretation of the story, probably of your dad, probably, of what you witnessed him doing, and you interpreted it to be through the lens of your, little ill-formed or unformed self. Where do these stories come from? And that's what we model our life on. We just keep going through the hamster wheel of repeating these stories. And it's like, hang on a sec, why do I do that? I know why I hated sales, because I get this very burnt in my memory. I'm 50 years old, so we had landlines back then. That's all we had. And these telemarketers would ring, and my dad would go pick up the phone. He goes, hello. And he would blow the fuck up. Fucking salespeople fucking hate when they call the house. I'm like, I am never selling ever again, was the story I created. I will never sell. Fuck doing that. Why would you want to do that for a job? Everyone you ring goes, fuck off. So I refuse to sell. I would say, I refuse to sell. If I will not sell. Like, if they want, then they can pay for it, but I am not selling anything. How do you think that went for business? A few lame years. And I had to. So how did I overcome that? Same way, everything we've been talking about. When I realized I had an aversion to selling, massive aversion to selling, I went to the hardest industry that there was to learn how to sell. Now, we think used car salesmen have got a really bad name. Well, there's one that's worse than that, and they're up there with real estate agents, but real estate agents got a bad name, and I became one to overcome that as well. But photocopier salesman. Now, you would not believe how much money is in that bloody industry. Millions. Those guys are making 7 figures. The top 3 salesmen in every office genuinely make anywhere between 2 and 3 million a year. And it's criminal what they do. Anyway, I learned to sell in the hardest industry there was, photocopier sales. And why did I go there? Because there was a stigma. I had an attachment to what it meant and what it said, and all of the accusations of what that was. I'm like, okay, there's a thing that you hate, go do it. So I'd walk into that Lion's Den, and I learned so much. And I learned there that very dumb people make a lot of money because they just show up and they follow the process. They don't think, they just go action, action, action. He says, do this. Okay, do that. And so they do make a lot of money. Even in this age of paperless environments, they're still making money off that. It's incredible. But the point is, realize where your patterns come from. I saw my dad do this, blow up, hang up the phone. Okay, I'm never selling again. So that really stalled the first, 26, 30, first 30 years of my life, I had a massive aversion to sales. Yeah, it made it very hard. Okay. And I had to, which was worse, I became the worst salesman because I had to lie and people please and be covert because I didn't want to sell, which means I was ultimately selling covertly, which is the worst form. Just be overt about it. Be obvious. Would you like help with that?
Yeah.
Right. So realize that we all run patterns. We all run stories. Where did these come from? And that's my dad's story. That was my dad's story. Now, inadvertently, we say this thing, I don't want to be anything like my dad. Well, the unconscious mind doesn't process negative. So what do I be? I become exactly like my dad. So I have to recognize the pattern, recognize the story, so I can let go of the story, transcend it, and become who I'm actually meant to be, not my dad's stories or my perception of my dad's stories.
Guys, I'll wrap a bow on it, and then we can answer any questions if you got them. But quite simply, there's one: build your structure to make it super simple, so your habits can easily flow through, and then take, even if it's minute, like MC is a terrible example, by the way, because he fucking picks the biggest, hardest thing and then goes and does it. I'm like, it's impressive. I hate sales, so I'll go and pick the hardest job to do. It's brutal, but it is the fastest way to learn, and it will get you the fastest results. So there is that option. I'm not saying it's not there. Not saying it's not there. But if you want a lighter initiation into it, pick a small one. But just do it continuously. It might be 5 minutes, but do it continuously and do it over time. And there's a lesson that I'll bring up tomorrow in the coaching session. But those two things alone, structure with the action, make it easy to fucking go to the gym, make it easy to lose weight. And sometimes the structure involves taking things away rather than adding things. Remember that as well. So, if you want to stop eating chocolate, take it out of the house. If chocolate's in my house, I eat it. Just don't put it in the house. Job done. So yeah, structure, actions makes all the difference. It's literally as simple as it gets. Don't be the guy that sits there going, here's a pretty picture of a beach. I can't wait to be the guy sitting on the beach with $1 million in my account. Oh, that feels so good. And then go do nothing with your day. MC?
I'm just feeling something also that remove decision making out of it as well. So if you look at all the key, the alumni of successful, what we would call successful and materialistic world, you've got your Musks, your Jobs, they all wore the same clothes.
Obama, yeah.
I did this accidentally. I didn't realize that was a thing. I just thought it was my OCD. It was just like, but I wore either a blue shirt or a white shirt. Why? Okay, psychologically, I knew that when I was selling, people didn't form opinions on white or blue. They're so neutral. They're so meh, right? That people don't judge you on it. White and blue. It's just formal. It's done. Funny enough, my biggest selling day was always Wednesday, and I wore a bright pink t-shirt, bright pink shirt. What? Go figure. I guess the contrarian approach. I like challenge. But the point was the rest of my week. But guess what? Wednesday was not a decision. It was pink day. The other parts of the week was white and blue, alternating. Right? I didn't have decisions to make. My lunches were pre-made. I don't have decisions. I just walked to the fridge with my eyes closed. Bang. Eat. Remove all the forms of decision making. If you're sitting there, like, date a Thai girl. It's the funniest thing on the planet. You go to dinner and it'll take you 45 minutes because they've got a big menu and they can't decide, right? And see, I lose 45 minutes to a dinner because she can't decide between pad kaprao and pad thai. It's just and she ends up with the same dish she has every other week. It's this. So decisions will cost you time, bandwidth, everything. So where there's an opportunity, whether it's clothes, whether it's food, whether it's schedule, get it scheduled and get it done and be consistent. Routine and structure sets you free. Mark Burrow said that. The more structured you have, the more freedom you have. It's a paradox, but all paradoxes must be resolved. It's universal law. By creating structure, you have more freedom. So again, like Josh's point was structure, all right, remove the decisions. That will give you more freedom and more time and more bandwidth. Don't hold things in your head, get them out.
Have you ever heard about the jam story?
Big Jam?
It's like the jam stall sets up. This was a statistical thing. I think they set up 46 different flavors of jam, and people would come to the store and be like, "Wow, this is amazing!" You have 40. They were just amazed at 46 different flavors of jam. Doing their sales and things, they minimized it down to I think 6 flavors of jam. Sales went up. I can't remember statistics, but it was crazy amount because people would get there and be like, "Fuck, 46. Okay, cool, wow," and then they'd just leave.
Walk out with nothing. Yep.
Walk out with nothing. 6, they'd be like, "I'll take 3 of the raspberry, 1 of the apricot, boom, done, out." It was just super simple. I was like, "Oh wow, there you go." The guy he was probably smart. Probably like, I can make all these different jams, and thought that this would be great for people. Should have just gone with the dumb guy.
They do that with every supplement on the planet. They just bring it down to 6. And those people who've got all of the flavors end up going broke because no one buys. Same thing with your sales process, right? Give them 2 options. Everywhere. If I'm closing a call, I'll be like, okay, cool. So let's circle back on this. What's Tuesday or Thursday like for you next week? Great. Morning or afternoon? 2 options. Great. 10 or 2. Narrow down to where, and guess what? 2 o'clock was the time I wanted. I just narrowed them into the time that I want. Notice I didn't give them Monday to Sunday. I just said Tuesday or Thursday. That's my sales calls days. Great. Between 10 or 2, there's the 2 options. Great. 2 o'clock is the only one available. Right. And so I narrow them down. When you got to close on your product, you go, okay, cool. Well, there's 2 ways you can work with me. You can do one-on-one or you can do group. I can decide on that. I'm not a group person. Great. One-on-one's your only option. Here we go. This is what it looks like. I'm not telling you what to do. No one likes to be told. People like to buy. Do you understand that? If I said, Mike, you got to buy this. Sam, you got to buy that. They're like, I don't know, resistance. But when you choose your own adventure and what feels good, which one feels better for you? Well, that one feels better. All right, let's look at that. Yeah. Can you see how when we give people too many options, it's confusing and overwhelming. When we direct people and give them choice, they get to choose it by free will. And all we're doing is providing an option for them. So 2 options only. And then I hadn't sold you a thing. You fucking chose it.
Have you guys got any? Yeah, you guys got any questions?
I don't, but decision fatigue is an interesting one because I've been thinking all morning what I'm having for lunch, which is pathetic, but it's probably wasted 3/4 of an hour of my day already. Yep. So it's a good thinking. I know what I've had
honestly,
for lunch.
Asian menus are the worst because they are like 3 pages, and I'm like,
3. Bro,
it's about 10.
We're like 20 pages over here.
People ask me, why do you always get the same ice cream? Why do you always get chocolate? I said, like, why do I always come home to the same wife? I'm like, do you want me to start trying different flavors? I'm like, I know what I like. I know what I want. That's what I'm having. So I get the same thing every time. I'm like, that one. And every time I fall, I get really pissed off myself when I'm like, okay, fine, I'll buy another one. I'm like, fuck it, that's in the bin. You just threw a whole ice cream out. Yeah, because I went out of my own alignment. I went with somebody else's thought, got the thing, fucking knew I didn't want it. And I always get pissed off at myself for not holding a boundary around it. Always.
And you got to hold that shit.
You got to hold it.
You got to hold that because you're like, fucking hell, and I really wanted the chocolate, and I really. Then you're in that resentment phase. Then you start resenting it.
It's the worst. Every time. I'm like, no, I know my decision. And be okay with missing out.
But honestly, like my routine is so like the food doesn't change. I eat the same meal, the same time of day. It's so when we look at manufacturing, my life is a manufactured process. I walk out the room, have my water, have my Metamucil, walk over to the coffee machine. It's a fucking production line. And it's so fast. It's just like a conveyor belt. Why do you think they have conveyor belts for manufacturing cars? Because it's efficient. Right? My wardrobe is, everyone thinks it's OCD. It's not. It's color coordinated. It takes me once to color coordinate. I don't have to go looking for the white shirt. It's with the other fucking white shirts. They're all white. And it goes white, light brown, dark brown, blue, black. That's it. I walk in, bang, pull one out. I know what color it is. It took me once to set it up. I don't have to do it again. Next time the cleaner comes in and she just puts it with the black one. And so my whole life is systemized, which is why I get so much done, because I just do these things that matter. I don't have anything to worry about. Yeah, people think, yes, there probably is OCD in there. Yes, absolutely. I'll own that. I used to say when I was younger, I don't suffer with OCD. I enjoy every minute of it. But it's very beneficial. And if you look at all of the people that we, admire or benchmark, they all seem to do the same thing. Success leaves clues. Failure leaves bigger clues. Avoid those ones. Yeah. Go and do what's working. It might seem odd, but if it's working, give it a try.
All right, guys. Big love to you. Have an awesome week. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
See you guys.